Hiya, it's Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. I have recently been really loving this little die set here of the 4 flower dies, and the 2 leaf dies actually don't come with it. They come from a different daisy set. I have some normal kind of kids craft foam here that I'm going to be using. I think this one is 3mm thick, but 2mm works just fine. 1mm is slightly too thin, so 2 or 3 works best. Run it through your die cutting machine one time. Don't be tempted to run it back and forward to get a good cut, because you will end up double cutting the foam because it stretches a little bit. So just make sure you run it through one time only. And then to make my stamps, I just add a little bit of double-sided tape onto the backs of them, and then I pop that down onto some acrylic blocks. You definitely don't need to have a whole lot of tape to hold them down. Even some removable adhesive or something like that works perfectly fine. And I find with this double-sided tape, even though I guess it's like a permanent tape, it comes off easily, nice and fine from my acrylic blocks once I'm done. So that's not something to worry about. And I'm going to be trying a technique today that is most definitely not new. There's lots of videos out there on it, but it is new to me and I've actually never done it before. So I have 2 baby wipes here that are folded over. Then I have these re-inkers here. These are the Ranger re-inkers for the die inks. I don't even think they sell these anymore. I think they might be discontinued. I'm not sure. So just use what you have in your stash, and I apologize that these aren't available, but I may as well use them up and not let them go to waste. I'm using some red and yellow ink, and there's no such pattern that I'm going for. I just put a little bit of ink down on a baby wipe. Then I remembered that I need to do some leaves as well, so I just put some green down on that one. Then I have my foam stamps that I just press into the ink, and then this leaves a really cool pattern, or not even a pattern, just kind of a mix of the 2 colors. That's a really nice gentle gradient between the 2 and no harsh lines. So I love this technique, and these colors together are very nice and bright. I was going with a really light-hearted card and just having fun creating today. So I kept the green one just separate by itself. I didn't use 2 colors, although I think I probably could have used a light and a dark there. I just kept it really simple because I wanted the focus to be on the flowers, completely on the flowers. So this baby wipe technique is obviously really fun. You can use whatever colors you want to use, and you can reuse that little homemade ink pad over and over again. And I know some people store them in a little snap lock container or a little airtight container, and that way they can add a little bit of water if they get dry, but they honestly go on and on for a good long time. So that is fun to kind of create a custom ink pad if you'd like to. There is my front panel all done, and again I think it looks quite cool. I really love the oranges that became of the red and the yellow, so that was really pretty. Then I wanted my card base to match, so in my previous video I used some cotton balls to do some ink blending, and I was surprised at how well they blended ink. Now don't get me wrong, it is not the perfect solution or the best solution or anything, but one of my subscribers suggested it to me, and I thought, yeah, I'll give that a go. I've got some cotton balls in the house. So I ended up using the same re-inker. Probably using an ink pad would have been better for the cotton balls, but I wanted this yellow to match the yellow that was on the card front. Then I'm going to use my Letter It, It's the Little Things, and a combination of those and the Kelly Creates stamp set here, which I'm going to use the Yay from. Then I'm going to use my little stamping platform and use some StazOn black ink. You could also just use some normal ink here and heat emboss it really carefully onto some vellum. However, this just using StazOn means that I don't have to heat emboss it or do anything like that, and it will be permanent and not smudge at all. So that was important. It says, yay, you're awesome. I had a good friend in mind for this one, so I wanted to let her know how awesome she had been to me. So I'm just giving it a quick heat set with my heat tool. Make sure you don't leave it on there too long, because obviously the vellum is plastic, and if you leave it on one spot for too long, it will definitely warp that plastic. I'm going to create a rectangle using my trimmer. You could definitely use a die to make sure that you had it nice and even and things. I was being a little bit lazy and just cutting it out on my trimmer, just eyeballing it. I wasn't measuring at all. Now, vellum being notoriously tricky to adhere down onto your card without seeing the adhesive, I am using this little piece of white cardstock here, which I have covered the entire front in double-sided scrapbook.com adhesive sheets, and that way you can't see the adhesive because the whole thing is covered in adhesive. Then on the back of that, I have added a little bit of that fun foam that I used earlier on. Just the white one is what I have plenty of. Added some double-sided tape either side of it and backed that up so that it would pop up my little sentiment on the front of my card. And then I am ready to go. I'm using some liquid glue. This is the Ranger Multi-Medium in the matte finish to add to my card front and pop it down onto my card. You could also use a yellow card base and just pop a little white insert in the middle would be fun as well, but I just have all white card bases, so that's what I used, and coloured the edges yellow. Then finishing it off with some yellow Nuvo drops, and this card is done. Bright and beautiful and fun and light. I hope you guys enjoyed this really quick tutorial today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, bye!